Welcome to Plutus IAS, and today we are covering a previous year question that was asked in the mains exams, and the question is from your polymer chemistry. So in the question it is asked, if a small amount of glycerol is added to the reaction mixture of toluene 2,6-diisocyanate and ethylene glycol, we will get a polyurethane foam, and a much stiffer form is obtained. Explain. So the key points in this question to us, first we need to understand what is polyurethane. Then, what is polyurethane? Polyurethane is also known as carbamates. Carbamates are those compounds in which to the carbonyl group the OR and amide groups are bounded to the same carbon. These kinds of compound are called carbamates or your polyurethane. For a formation of a general polyurethane compound, we take some n number of isocyanate compounds and react with them with any alcohol that we want. Now this alcohol can be diols, triols or normal alcohols, whereas your isocyanates can be diisocyanate and triisocyanate. In this particular case, we have seen that they have given us toluene 2,6-diisocyanate. The next thing that will come here is that we need to define the reason why the foam that you are getting after adding glycerol is much more stiffer than with the case of ethylene glycol. Now this can be explained that the polymer chains run parallelly to one another, which is responsible for their entire strength. But if I want a much more rigid structure, that can only be explained when these polymer chains are cross-linked, or there will be increased number of forces that pulls these chains together. So that means for having a highly rigid polyurethane, it's imperative that using ethylene glycol must have introduced cross-linking between the adjacent polymer chains. So for this, the compound we have given is your 2,6 toluene diisocyanate, and it is being reacted with ethylene glycol. For the ethylene glycol, this oxygen will take up electron, this oxygen will react this carbon, and after repeated number of polymerization we'll get NH. After this will become R N double bond. It will be oxygen double bond carbon N bonded to toluene CH3, N double bond C bounded to oxygen, and this oxygen being negatively charged, also having hydrogen OH, and this is CH2 whole twice OH. Now what happens? This oxygen will take up the electron, this will react to form acid. N double bond C OH, and this will be your O CH2 whole 4 OH. Now this OH portion will react with other isocyanate, and this portion will also be attacked by other ethylene glycol, and with this we'll see that it gives us a polymeric structure which looks like something this. It will be N double bond C OH O CH2 whole 4 O, and this being repeated N double bond OH O, where in the polymerization process this N which also get reduced and will form amide by hydrogen transfer. And same goes for this one. So what will happen? We have seen that with the introduction of ethylene glycol we are getting a linear polymerized chain, but if we are adding glycerol to it, glycerol is your trihydric alcohol, this. So what happens is when glycerol is introduced, at this point, the number of OH that exist here, the third OH, they take part into the cross-linking and produces CONHR, and this polymer chain will be repeated again with cross branchings. So by introduction of glycerol, the number of cross-linking structures increases, which leads to the pulling of the polymer chains more closer and the binding between them increases, which is responsible for the formation of the polyurethane form that is obtained by glycerol is much stiffer. Now this method is most often used when you want to form a polyurethane with a higher density, with a higher impact strength. So whenever you need to increase the hardness, impact strength of any kind of polymer, it is always imperative that you should use a dihydric or trihydric alcohol in order to increase the number of branching in the polymer. And I hope this question would help you and you have got the idea what you need to include in your answers, and I hope this will further help you in your exams. Now apart from this, from the coming weeks, we'll also discuss some more questions along with the topics. And in case do you have any specific question that you want to ask, you want to make me the video, the comment section is all yours, and we'll see you again. Thank you.